Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. So, the last 5 episodes were all about a focus on how to improve your relationship, and I thought, I think I can expand upon that even further. So, for these next 5 episodes, we're going to talk about 5 more things you can do to improve your relationships because I think that it's important. As I mentioned at the beginning of the last 5 episodes, I mentioned that there was a Harvard study done, and it was done over a 75-year period. And during this study, they took these men, and eventually they also incorporated their wives into the study, but they took these men when they were small children and they asked them a series of questions to help monitor their happiness throughout their lifetime. Towards the end of these men's lives, and those and their spouses who are still alive still get to ask these questions annually, I believe. But they found over the 75-year study that the key indicator to happiness was relationships. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of episode 461, where I shared this brief little study, I think that one of the keys to happiness is a relationship with yourself, which is why we are 460 plus episodes in before I'm really diving into relationships with other people. But that said, relationships with other people are very important to our social self-care, whether you're an introvert, extrovert, or ambivert. And also very important to our well-being and our happiness because we are humans. We like society. We like company. We don't like feeling lonely. And if we're feeling lonely, we're not feeling happy. So check out the last 5 episodes if you have not yet and you're coming in now. But if you're just coming in now, still a great place to start because today I want to talk all about acts of kindness to improve your relationships. So what does that mean? Really, it means what it says, acts of kindness. How are you offering acts of kindness to the relationships in your life? Now, that could be spouse relationships, that could be family relationships, friend relationships, co-worker relationships, but how are you just inserting small acts of kindness where you can? Here's the thing. I think that in our hearts and our minds, we all want to be kind. We all want to be generous. And we all wanted to be we all want to be treated with kindness and generosity. Well, just like everything else, if those are the things that you want in your life or that in your heart and your mind that you wish and want to be, it starts with you today. So, first things first, take a look. Have you been inserting acts of kindness and generosity into your relationships? That can look like a small thank you card. That can look like, hey, I was in line at the grocery store and they had your favorite candy right there, so I thought of you and I picked it up for you. I did the dishes because I know that you have a lot on your plate and that's been bothering you. Hey, I just thought I would give you a chat. I wanted to send you a text and see how you're doing. We haven't talked in a while. How are you? Been thinking about you. There's so many small acts of kindness, even for strangers, that we can do to feel more kind and to feel more generous. And the more frequently we make acts of kindness and generosity a habit or routine in our lives, the more it's not just about feeling kind and generous. It also leans into becoming kind and generous. And it's really interesting to me because every time that I work with an individual on their declarations, right, we've spoken about creative declarations. So anytime that I'm working with someone on creative declarations, inevitably, kindness and or generosity is in their list of words to pick from. And they pick those words. So they select a grouping of words and then select a smaller grouping of words to form their declaration of who they want to be. Inevitably, kindness is almost always on there. And if kindness isn't, generosity is, and there's also chances that they both are. Charitable is also another one that comes up frequently. And these three all work together. A lot of people see charitable as giving away money, but isn't it charitable to spend a little bit of your time reaching out to someone that you're thinking about to make sure that they know that someone cares about them? Isn't that an act of kindness? Isn't that being generous and charitable with your time, with your phone data, if you want to go that far? There's so many little things that we can do, but first we have to take a look and go, am I doing anything like that? If you are, fantastic. If you're not, this is the wake-up call. Because how many times have you gotten a text from someone and they say, oh, I've been thinking about you. Or, hey, I saw this candy bar and it reminded me of you because it's your favorite, so I picked it up for you. Or, I just want to say thank you for all your hard work. It's just been phenomenal. Right? Excuse me. Still getting over that cold. But that kind of stuff, when it happens to us, we're like, oh my gosh, this was so awesome. Thank you. And it brightens our day. But it's not something we expect regularly, and it's not something we think about reciprocating too frequently either. So I want you to take a look at your own actions and see how frequently you are offering small acts of kindness to those that you love and people around you and that you care about and you interact with and you have relationships with, right? Then look at how often that stuff happens to you. Because again, like everything else, it starts with you. So if you can start with the small acts of kindness, I guarantee you will start to get small acts of kindness back. And who doesn't want a life where kindness and generosity is reciprocated all the time? Where you can feel kind and generous and you can be the benefactor. You can be receiving kindness and generosity. That's amazing. And it can improve our relationships because it lets others know that we think about them, that we care about them, that they are important in our lives, that we see what they're doing and we appreciate it, that we see where they're at and we want to help. We see their most beautiful self and we want to appreciate them for it. It can deeply improve your relationships. The other component of this is we can't do acts of kindness expecting them back in return, right? So I think you will have it reciprocated. I do. But you can't expect it to be reciprocated by that same individual in the same time frame or anything like that. Your acts of kindness may be reciprocated by complete strangers you don't know. You can't expect it from the people that you're giving it to, otherwise it's not an act of kindness. It's an act of expectation. So we need to give these acts of kindness, these acts of generosity to those that we have relationships with without expectation. And when we can do that, it will strengthen our relationships. And we will reciprocate. We will get the reciprocation back. I promise. But if you go into it going, well, I gave them 3 acts of kindness and they haven't even said thank you or haven't even noticed. It takes time. People are busy. But I guarantee it will make an impact in them knowing that you're thinking about them and you care about them. And then you will start to get those same messages back from other people in your life. So don't do it with expectation, because if we are and we want to become kind and generous, expectations cannot be attached to that. So I'm going to leave you with that today. As we kick off this next part of the series of 5 more things to improve your relationships, I want you to look at how you are integrating acts of kindness into your life currently, how you receive acts of kindness currently, and how you can start to integrate more acts of kindness and generosity without expectation in your life, because it will help you feel more kind, more generous. You can create habits and routines around it, which will help you become more kind, more generous, which ultimately can help you become happier and improve your relationships. So it all ties together. So like I said, leaving that with you today. I hope that it resonates with you. If it does, or if you have questions, I would love to hear from you. You can find me at happinessabound.com, Happiness Abound blog on Facebook, and happiness_abound on Instagram. So find me there. Let me know what you think of this episode or what you thought of this 5 series episodes before about improving your relationships, and have a wonderful day. But above everything else, remember, you are capable of happiness abound.